All right, I'm back. So basically, these are going to be sitting directly on the ends. So to make this easier, I'll probably just go ahead and glue the ends on. Of course, make sure these are on before I do that. But I'm going to do one end first. And then once I have both ends on, I'll measure the inner ones and sand that before I glue them on. But yeah, just run it. You can see the color difference there. Just run it through and get a texture on that rod. And then same on the other end here. Just wipe it off. Make sure you get all that carbon off. And I'm just going to put this end on and make sure I sanded. I got a little bit sticking out that end, which is fine. There's a tad sticking out that end, so it does fully cover that, so we're good. CA, and just put a little bit down in it. Kind of spin it as I'm doing it. Get on all the edges. Just let that sit. Maybe tap it so it gets going down in there. There we go. Just put a little bit on this as well. Spin it. And then we will slide this on and spin it as I'm going down. And it is leaking out, so let me wipe it real quick. Just kind of spin it around in there. Make sure it doesn't pop up on you. Now these are hollow through this carbon rod, so there will be some trapped air in there, and sometimes it'll push the ends out. Once I get this one glued in, and once I start putting this one on, they'll pop themselves up because of that trapped air sometimes, so you got to make sure to hold them in. But it really don't take long typically for CA to set. Still hadn't set yet. And sometimes I'll just tape them in, tape them over, just from the rod, go over it, tape it down, just let it sit. I did that whenever I used epoxy a few times, but realistically, man, once this stuff sets, it ain't going nowhere. But this isn't really wanting to set too fast. Still moving. I'll just give it some time. I'm gonna go kind of look through here. See what's next. Basically just putting the rod on with the boom supports for the rod, and then the battery mount. And then after that, it looks like that's it. So, and we got all the stuff for mounting the blades, different width spacers, and the battery tray there, which I'm going to put on after I get done with this. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much at the end of the actual build. Of course, I still got to wire it. It's still moving. So, you know, the wiring is just going to be me trying to neaten it up as much as I can, maybe even shortening the wires. I don't know if I'll do that yet. There's not a ton of space back here. I don't know if you can see that or not. But there's a little cavity in here that the wires can bundle up in, but I don't know, we'll see. We will see. But while this is sitting and drying, I did run the wires a bit already for this throttle servo, which it has a space cut out for the wire to start getting zip tied to the frame itself. It didn't have one right here, which the wire was trying to go towards the belt. So I just put one around the whole frame there to secure the wire to the carbon frame. And then it come out of this little area here where it the aluminum frame piece for just to hold the frame or the carbon together. But there's a gap there, so I fed it through that, and then all the way down here there's cutouts for you to zip tie the wire to the frame, and also there's cutouts in the actual aluminum blocks for the main shaft, top and bottom, as you can see there. So I zip tied the wires neatly to the frame and the rail there, and you know, of course, the rear servos, you really don't, I mean, they're just sticking straight out there, so don't need much for that. And I still need to run the wire, which I've already got that kind of neatened up for the glow plug. I put the RPM sensor in down there, but I need to run the RPM sensor and the IntelliSwitch right there. I need to run wires from that to the V-bar Evo. So there's going to be some more wires going down the rail. But this side of the frame is open for the IntelliSwitch, to the 2 wires, and the RPM sensor to run back here. So I'll just kind of neaten those up and run them like I did the other side over there. But yeah, that's pretty much it there as far as the wiring went so far. Let's check this, and it looks like we're good now. I don't want to mess it too much because it's still probably drying, but it's on there enough to not want to come off. So let me not forget to put these on first, and then we'll go ahead and glue the other side in. And I may have just used too much before, honestly, so I'll just be kind of quick with this. I'll squeeze so much in. And then a little bit on this as well, which, dang, my thing is leaking out. All right, same thing, just spin it as I go in. It's definitely coating it, so that's nice. And I'll show you what I'm talking about, because this is actually doing it. Oh, no, it's not. I thought it did. It's not sealed enough for it to push itself up with that trapped air I was talking about earlier. All right, so that one's in. It just needs to set like the other one did. And see, that's already setting. It's already starting to stick. Still moved a little bit. Broke free. But I think just by using a little bit less, it dried quicker. So. All right, I'm gonna let that dry. And basically, what my plan is to sit this down here and measure the distance for these to sit, and then go ahead and sand them down wherever the area is. Sand those spots down and glue them into place. And then after that, we'll put the tail boom on and the battery tray or plate on as well. So I'm going to cut it off for now, though, while this dries, and then I'll come back at you. All right, all of it is glued in place at the recommended lengths, and now it's time to go ahead and get the mounting brackets out for the rod itself to the tail boom. Go ahead and cut them out, and then save that for later. Now these are plastic, so they will bend over the boom itself for easy installation, so that's nice. So yeah, we'll imagine just go ahead and put these on, and then we can go ahead and put the ends on, because obviously they're not going to slide over with these in place already. So now one thing I noticed, it doesn't tell you from the servo end or the ball link ends how far they need to be apart. So I imagine I'm just going to thread them all the way down and then line the proper side up to snap onto the ball. So you know, one thing you don't want to do is hold the rod while tightening this down. I have used that little cutout there, circular cutout, and go around the actual threaded part itself. And I should be using my thing here. Here we go. Make it a little easier on my fingers. But yeah, I'm just going to run it all the way down to the end of the threads, which is right there on that side. And then we'll go ahead and do the other. Get started. No, that's nothing. Alright, that's all the way down there. And one of them is going to be up and down. The other one's going to be horizontal. So should really just spin it just a touch more and it'll be lined up perfect. So we'll do that. Set that back one how it goes on. And I'll spin this the rest of the way. There we go. So now I'll go ahead and make sure I did it right. I think I did it right. Yeah, there we go. Go ahead and clip these around it. And snap the ball links on. That one's on. And that one is on. So now that that's on, I'll go ahead and make sure it's centered. A lot of times I'll just stick a little shaft or something through this. Yeah, there you go. That's a good fit. And then just make sure it's straight with the tail rod itself. So that's perfectly centered to that. So now that it's like that, I'll go ahead and I can adjust these later if I need to, but I'll just put them in the center of those sleeves that I glued to the rod and tighten them down. And it is saying number 8 bolts, which are on the other page, probably. Maybe. Yeah, right, so those are the coarse threaded type since it's going into plastic. There it goes. Let's get it started. As I tighten it, I'll make sure it stays centered. Alright, it's tight. And that was tight. There we go. Looking good. All right, and the next thing is these are the bolts and nuts for the main blades. These are the bolts and nuts for the tail blades. I could probably just slide those in there so I don't lose them. We'll do that actually. Alright, those are in. And these must be for the, let's see, the pins. Those are for. I don't know. Doesn't have the pins anywhere that that I can see. So what are they for? I don't know. Oh, there they are. 31 and 6s. Pins go. Okay, part of the battery thing. They got a little hole in these little inserts for, I guess, the battery to go through the frame. So, so these grommets go in the frame first. So let me tip it so we can see. We got these holes right here. They'll go into the frame itself. So we got a soft mount battery tray for whatever reason. Ain't going in easy. There it goes. Just make sure it's freed up and not binding anywhere. Keep working this in. There it goes. Just kind of pop the edges so it's not folded on itself. And like I said, freed up. So, all right. So that's in. So now these pop in to those little inserts I just put in, and then these pins slide through those to keep it from falling out. I mean, this is a something different for sure for battery mounting. Got those in, and then you got these to actually bolt the plate down to those that I just slid in, the little inserts. And get it out. And there's there it is there. It's got countersunk holes right there. And yeah. That's it. So we'll go ahead and Loctite these down, and really I guess if you ever need to remove the tray, oh, that is not Loctite. If you ever need to remove the tray, you don't have to take the bolts out per se, you just take those pins out. Which I'm not too sure why you need to remove them, honestly. But if you do, at least it's not having to unscrew these little micro bolts to get it off. All right, that is in and tight. Oh, I just noticed something. Let me take it off so I can show you. So it actually locks. There's a little space. There's a little thing on the frame here. Get it over here. I don't know if you can see it or not. But there's this little tab that sticks out with a little slit in it. And that's actually for the battery. That little tab there slides into it. So it locks itself into place back there. And then you tighten it in. Line the hole up first. Put the other one back in. There we go. Yeah, so that's it. Battery tray's in. That pretty much wraps that up. Like I said, I'll get back with y'all whenever I get all the wiring done and all, so y'all can see that. But I would call that, you know, as far as the actual mechanical part of it, that's that's the build. So but yeah, I'll get back at y'all and let you see everything once it's all done and wired up and ready to fire up and fly. Of course, I need to put the muffler on still. I'll be using the Kerry Brooks pipey cells for the 91s. Not labeled or anything, but it is his pipey cells at gaspoweredhelicopters.com. So I'll be using that one. Anyway, that is it. I'll see y'all back whenever I get it all wired up, or neatened up at least. That was 13 minutes and 30 seconds. All right, it is ready to go. Everything is finished and turned out well. Everything was enjoyable to build. The only snag I had really was the tail bed. Having to cut that little piece off because of the tail being too long. So anyway, other than that, yeah, it was all good. And this thing is ready for maiden. Got everything set up as far as the blade pitch and leveling the swash plate, the throw on the throttle servo and the tail, and all that is ready to go. So this is what she looks like, which I know everybody's seen already. This is what mine looks like, complete, ready to go. And I'll take this canopy off here in a second and show you the wiring. Like I said, I'm not too crazy on the wiring. I don't wrap the wiring and all that stuff, but I do try to get it in there as neat as possible. I'm going to have to lay this down for a second and get this canopy off. Canopy slides on pretty easily. It's got a little hook on the bottom. Not hook, but a little slit in the canopy that slides into the plastic insert that I put down here. In between that's probably like a little I don't know what you'd call it, but like a little channel right there for that to slide into. So, but yeah, this is it. I mean, the wiring has got, like I said before, it's got routes for the wiring to go. You can see here, this is the throttle servo. It's all the way under here, and back through here with zip tie channels in the plates, keep everything secure. I ended up not cutting it short, just bundling it up, kind of scrunching it up and putting it up top there, just keeping it away from the fly barless, so just so it's not putting any type of stress on it. So it's up top more, not sitting on the wiring. But yeah, it's the only really way I could run the rudder servo, which I mean ain't bad. It's just on the outside. I try to keep everything internal, but I thought about going up behind it, but it's just it was a tight fit in there. So that was just the easiest thing. Turn this around and put this down again. And this is the other side. This is where the battery mounts. That little plate there. Let me take this off so you can see that. All right. I was able to sneak this wiring for the IntelliSwitch and the RPM backplate sensor. The wiring for that, all three, just 3 servo wires going up behind the battery plate, and then just going right behind or in between these 2 servos to the fly barless. So that hit it pretty well. I like that. But that's it. I mean, really, ain't much else to say about it. I'm using the 696 rails, the newer design, and some rotor blades that I have laying around. These are the I have plenty of them, but they're the what blade is that? The Vulcan blades. Just something I had laying around, so I'm just gonna use that. But yeah, I'm impressed with the build. It's a solid heli. Like I said during the video, it's all precision fit. Really just gonna probably be a solid flyer, so I'm anxious to do that. I mean, they, using the skinny main shaft, kind of going back to the old days there, but I guess if you're gonna get the lightest heli, you got to use the lightest parts, lesser material. So, but yeah, we shall see. I do crash, so we'll see how it fares well with that. Hopefully, it won't crash right away, but I do know that it's inevitable the way most of us fly. So, see what happens. But anyway, that is it. Thanks for following along. I'm gonna get started at editing this video, so it's not gonna be as long as it really was, which I'm curious. I still hadn't looked into, see how long the actual build took. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Have a good one.